What does the ebook mean to you?
It means basically two things. One, that the little mass market books
Mm-hmm.
that used to be wildly popular, $3 a pop, now cost $10 and can be downloaded onto an extremely expensive machine. We'll see how many people get on that bandwagon. It's possible that it will become wildly popular, but ultimately, if people want to find something quick to read that they have instant access to, it doesn't affect the book trade in the long term. It's just one more great way for people to end up with the books they want, and I'm all for that.
Do you think the ebook and the fact that you can read and buy text online is progressive? And what is significant gained or lost through this?
The significant gain, obviously, is lowered production costs. Whether that translates into lowered costs to the student, we have to trust the publishers. Do we trust publishers? I would like to see students have lower costs, but I would also like to see students have books that they can keep and refer back to when they're older, that don't disappear suddenly when Amazon suddenly realizes they don't have the rights to distribute the title. I don't know if you heard about that, but several students had an unfortunate incident a couple years back where their copies of 1984 suddenly disappeared off of their Kindles overnight, of all the books, right?
Mm-hmm.
So while I think it has every potential to be something very liberating to the already overtaxed student, I have a lot more faith in physical books, and I have a lot less faith in publishers that makes me optimistic about students benefiting.
So Barnes & Noble is selling Nooks, Borders is selling the ebook, etc. Do you think they'll be able to keep a tight grip on downloadable books, or do you think this will be suicide and it'll turn into something that they can't control, like Napster selling free music online? Something like that might happen to books.
To tell you the truth, it wouldn't be the first time that they'd done something suicidal. There's a concept in marketing called loss leading, where if something is really wildly popular, you put it out, perhaps even at a little bit lower than cost, and people come in to buy that, and then the theory is they'll also spend other money since they feel like they're saving money. Well, they've made this an industry-wide thing. They sell all bestsellers at 40% off the entire time they're on the bestseller list, which means that the books that people know about, that have been advertised to them, that are successful, that have wide word-of-mouth coverage, are the only things they buy. So it wouldn't be out of the question for them to do something that was short-sighted, because they've done it before. Whether this really has an impact, I mean, the biggest thing I'm seeing happen with the ebook reader right now is that self-published individuals are able to circulate their materials more. And okay, yeah, a couple million people might buy their John Grisham novels that way. Are Barnes & Noble really making that much money off of John Grisham novels to begin with, the mass market paperback kind? I remain unconvinced.
So you think physical copies of books will retain a fan base, and enough so to support a business?
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many times a day people come in and tell me they read it in ebook format and they want to have a copy that they can flip open, show their friends, loan around to people who don't have their particular reader. There are share options built into some of these things, but you can only share it once, or you have to pay extra to share it. And people want to be able to hold the book out to somebody and say, I loved this, you've got to read it. So for book lending, book giving, when you don't know what format your recipient of a gift person's reading thingy is, I mean, because Kindle doesn't read Nook files. What do you give them for Christmas? You don't give them a gift certificate to download something they can't use. You give them a physical object. Illustrations are still not fully realized in ebook format, although Barnes & Noble has taken some steps in that direction. Antiquarian books, you can't convey an antiquarian book in electronic format, so there will still be demand for that. And plus, people like bookstores, especially in this town. They want to go someplace that's surrounded by books where they can sit down and have an intelligent conversation. They want to go someplace that isn't a bar where they can hang out.
Right.
And the book has always been something that draws intellectuals together. And I don't see that changing just because some of those books might be, in a little flat plastic thingy that you can turn on and off.
Mm-hmm.